What's going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video on my channel. Today I want to talk about why I ride and why I ride the way that I do. So my channel is still small enough now that I am able to read most of the comments that come in, and I do read them. I reply to most of them right now. As the channel grows, I know I won't be able to do that for all of them, but I do try to respond to most of you guys. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit today about some of the comments that I get about the way that I ride. Some of you have mentioned that I look really stiff when I ride the bike. A lot of you guys don't know this, but one of my arms, like my left arm, is actually 4 inches shorter than my right arm because I had an injury, I'm going to say maybe about 3 years ago, where I had actually detached my left arm. I actually was told I would never ride a bike again after that. It wasn't a motorcycle accident. It was another type of injury. I don't want to get into all the details of that at this point. It was just one of those stupid things that I did, and I ended up detaching my arm. So I don't mean that my arm was like removed from my body, but what happened is I had broken my arm completely in half, and my ligaments, my nerves, everything were detached. Like, I didn't even have pain when it first happened. That's how crazy this injury was. Like, it detached everything, so I had no feeling or anything. And they put it back together, and when they did that, my arm ended up 4 inches shorter than what it was before. So my left arm is 4 inches shorter than what it was before, but I am thankful that I have use out of it. You know, for a long time when I didn't feel anything, I had no use out of the arm. I had a weird palsy where I felt like my arm was moving even though it wasn't. And now I'm pretty happy to say that things are good. I basically just mean that I don't really have any pain in the arm. Anybody that broke a bone, sometimes they get some weird aches and pains here and there. But it isn't really anything that I even am reminded of every day. But I notice when I ride the bike, I probably look a little bit stiff on the bike. You know, this arm has to compensate for that arm, and I'm left-handed. So I think that kind of ties into it a little bit. I remember it happened in the wintertime, and I remember saying, you know, man, I hope I can ride my bike by the time springtime comes. And the orthopedic doctor said, I don't think you're going to ride motorcycle again. And I was actually, this injury was pretty crazy. I was actually in traction for, I think, 16 weeks. Not full traction. I think it was in full traction for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then they gave me other forms of traction after that. So traction meaning that they kind of wrap your body into a mechanical device and don't allow it to move. My accident happened in December. By the time like March and April rolled around, I was still in half traction. I had the Ninja 300 out in the garage, and I'm like, I'm never going to ride again. So I listed it for sale, and I sold it. And then in a few months, as I started to heal, and I got my, when I sold it, I didn't have any feeling in my arms. I mean, it was coming back, but it hadn't really, it was kind of like a little bit of a palsy and a paralysis, and if I would have still kept that feeling, I would have never gotten onto a bike again because I didn't really trust what was going on. Like, I wouldn't have trusted my arm because, like I said, I could feel it move even though it didn't move. So I was afraid that if I got on the bike, you know, my brain would tell my arm to do something, but nothing would happen. But anyway, over time, I just started to regain feeling back. All the nerves ended up doing whatever they had to do to get back together, and the feeling came back in my arm, and everything started feeling good. I started to feel confident that I could get on a bike again, but I ended up ordering one of the new Groms. Get in there, man. Jeepers creepers, get in there. So the idea behind the Grom was something to give me my little sport bike fix where I could get on the back roads and side roads and not really worry too much. And then I continued to heal and improve and get better, and I started to ride the Grom all over the place. Get in there, it's just construction. Holy gosh, I don't know how people learn to drive today. Check out some of my videos if you're into Groms. I did a lot of mods, accessories, updates to my Grom. I put a lot of money into my Grom. And then I started riding again with some of the bigger bikes, and I couldn't keep up on my Grom. I was feeling really good. My arm was feeling great. The palsy had went away, and palsy is like a paralysis. You know, like, you know what paralyzed is, where you can't feel anything? Well, palsy is where you maybe feel something, but it isn't actually there. But anyway, that was starting to go away. I was feeling really good. And then I decided to buy I still was afraid to buy a big bike. So then I ended up finding my KTM Duke 200, which was a pretty cool little bike. Anybody that has a KTM Duke 200, I'm sure you love that bike as much as I loved mine. Really cool bike. Rode that for a while, and it was a great bike, just really wouldn't keep up very well on the highway. Not that I'm a big highway rider, but I wanted to have a little bit more power. You know, I was maxing that bike out quite a bit. So then I ended up finding my Cfmoto 450Ss, completely fell in love with that bike. It was such an awesome bike in every way. I was riding with the bigger bikes, I was riding with guys on leader bikes, and yeah, they were blowing past me, but it was a pretty cool bike to have. But then I realized I was kind of pushing the limit on it too. Like, I was on the highway at full throttle all the time, trying to keep up with them. So I decided I wanted to get something a little bit bigger. The Cfmoto 450 was out in other countries. I didn't know that it was going to come to the USA. So I ended up buying a KTM RC390. I bought it over the winter time. I trailered it home in a snowstorm, so I never actually got out and rode it before I bought it. And when springtime came around, I got on it and I rode it, and I just didn't really like it. I didn't like the riding position. You guys think I ride this bike stiff? I mean, that bike, I just felt like I was on top of it. Like, it was really a weird feeling for me. A lot of people like that feeling, but I like to kind of sit down into a bike. I like to feel more a part of the bike, and I didn't feel like I was part of the RC390. Cfmoto did end up bringing the 450Ss over to the US market. So then I just tried to do whatever I could do to trade in my RC390 on this Cfmoto 450Ss. I rode one as a demo. I knew it had the riding position I wanted. It reminded, bam, that's a big bump. It had the power that I wanted. I don't need anything really more powerful than this. A lot of guys are going to tell you, you want to have a more powerful bike than this. I'm going to tell you, this bike is powerful enough for many people. You know, I mean, if you're used to getting on the highway and you want to go 100 miles an hour, and if you looked at my previous video, I have done that, but it isn't the way that I typically ride. But here I am on this 400Ss. I made a great decision to get it. I'm super happy with it. I know I get a lot of views from you guys in other countries where this is called the 450SR. There is some confusion sometimes, like people will say, well, what's the difference between the SR and the SS? I really can't answer that. I think it's basically the same bike. Just in the USA, they call it the SS, not the SR. I've had people ask me if I'm going to trade this in on the 450 SRS if it comes to the USA. Right now, I would say no. I mean, I think if I would ever upgrade from this bike, it would be something much more substantial engine-wise. But right now, I don't have any plans to even do that. I don't know what the future is going to bring. But like I said, I really like this bike. I think financially, I'm better off to hang on to this for a while. So I didn't tell you guys this, but I got a winning lottery ticket I got to cash in. I'm gonna cash it in on another one. I hope I win big. I didn't win very big on it. Little scratch-off ticket. I actually had somebody give me a scratch-off ticket on my birthday back in December, and I won, I think, $30 on it. I traded that in on a $30 scratch-off ticket, and I won $50. So I'm going to trade the $50 one in on something here, and maybe I'll win $3 million. I can tell you there'd be big changes to the channel if I did. There we go, guys. $3 million we're going to win, hopefully. I can see your comments being wrote right now. If I win $3 million, will I get rid of the Cfmoto 450Ss and buy a bigger bike or a more expensive bike? I don't know. Right now, I would probably say no, but who knows? I don't really know what else to tell you guys about me, but I thought I needed to kind of tell you about my arm and why sometimes I ride and I typically look like I'm very stiff when I ride the bike. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I mean, I'm pretty well healed, but I got like, it's weird when you have one arm shorter than the other. And, you know, it's kind of hard to lean over like that because my elbow doesn't bend the way that it doesn't bend the way that it used to, I guess. Like I said, it's all good. If there's anything else you guys want to know about me, I mean, I can do a Q&A video. I know a lot of people do that. If you want me to do a Q&A video, you can start asking questions, and you know, I'll start compiling some of those answers up and do a Q&A video. It can be anything you want to know. I don't really care. You know, you guys are just as much a part of this channel as what I am. I'm just putting the videos out there. Ask about the bike, ask about me, ask about the gear that I ride. If you like my jacket, I do have a link in the description below. It's comfortable, it's an air mesh jacket, so I mean, I can ride this jacket on a 100-degree humid day and it feels good. And I think it looks pretty cool too. I talk about my helmet a lot too. My Voss 989 links for the Voss helmets are in my description as well. That's a wrap for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, and bye-bye.